Jaina combined with Arcane Blast is so cheap in PvP, and to be honest, it's also a lot of fun. We can get him with an auto attack here? Sure did. Got him. So many minis in the middle, but I'm just gonna hoard some gold. Money, money, money. Time to blast off. It's just so easy to play and incredibly broken. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're talking about a cheap-ass Jaina deck, and what I mean by that is the average gold cost of the minis is only 2.6 gold. So you can just constantly keep cranking these out, putting pressure on the opponent. It's also a really strong counter deck. You can let them play and then react accordingly. The premise of the deck is going to use Jaina as the leader and one spell, Arcane Blast. Jaina as a leader allows you to cast spells at 3 levels higher. So we put Jaina on the board, and then we start blasting away. As you see, you can do enormous amounts of damage to the base, oftentimes completely just destroying it for enormous amounts of health when they don't even expect it. It's also very strong for picking off targets that you may not have an answer for otherwise. Let's go ahead and take a look at some full-length gameplay so you can see how the deck plays out, and I'll give some commentary along the way. We're facing a Bloodmage Thalnos, so let's go ahead. Alright, I'm going to send my Harpies down the left and turn the arrow to the right. I'll send the Wolf down the middle because that's the quickest unit. They've deployed a Golem along with some Harpies. I'm going to let that get some room. I'm going to send Jaina down the right, and I can actually pick these Harpies off with a rank 2 Arcane Blast. Now, I can't get the gold, but now I can simply send a Gryphon down the middle, and that'll deal with the Golem before it gets to my base. Bloodmage Thalnos will get onto my Harpies, and may take a tick of damage, but will ultimately kill them. I can delay the Harpies going down the left, and at this point, I'm just kind of conserving some gold, and I'll send a Scarecrow down the right, and the Wolf back down the middle again, and hopefully be able to pick up those chests as they respawn. So I have not had to play a Kobold at this point. I'm going to send the Harpies down the left at this point, hopefully getting these gold mine nodes to respawn. And I'm going to drop my Gnome on top of these Defias Bandits, and then hopefully get a Poly off on the Stone Golem, and that'll allow me to do some damage before it gets away, and also allow the Harpies to get there and do some work. At this point I'm going to summon Jaina, and I'll start blasting on this Golem just to get it down and prevent my troops from taking damage. And now I'm in a really good position. I've got Jaina down the middle collecting the chests. There's no gold mine nodes. You see, you actually have some time to relax with this deck. And I've still got my Arcane Blast. I'll save up 7 and just start nuking this base. And look, I can just chunk that, and they definitely weren't expecting that when I had just one Scarecrow on it. So at this point, I'm going to see what they're doing. Don't need the Gryphon yet, but I will send the Wolf down the middle. Can easily deal with these 2 units, even though it'll get stunned. Actually did not get stunned there. A Golem on the left, I will counter that with the Gryphon again. Just kind of let that go. Once I get 4 gold, I'm going to play the Harpies. That'll help deal with the Golem, and then hopefully also pick up the gold. And I'm just in complete control of this match. The opponent really can't do anything to pressure me, and this is how this deck basically plays. And I'm looking to get a unit down the middle. In this case, I'm going to drop the Scarecrow towards the front of the deployment. I am going to take a little bit of base damage here, just because that Golem had so much health. And my Harpies actually, unfortunately, go down. So I'll play a Kobold on the left. I'll deploy Jaina, and now I can use a rank 1 Arcane Blast just to take this Kobold out. In fact, I'll wait for the second one here and hit Bloodmage Thalnos at the same time. Or I'll just use it to try to prevent him from taking gold. Unfortunately, a mistake on my part. I was a little too slow. And at this point, I will bomb the Harpies and keep moving. It's difficult to talk and play at the same time, so making a few mistakes. Not that I'm perfect by any means normally. And this should deal with Thanos. And again, I don't mind putting 2 units out to deal with anything. I've done this repeatedly throughout this match. It's because they're so cheap. With an average cost of 2.6 gold, deploying an extra unit really isn't a big deal to me. I can easily make that gold up. Send the Harpies. I may take another tick on my base here, but that's alright. I'm going to send Scarecrows to the right to deal with Defias. If they turn, that's okay. The Scarecrow will just go towards their base, and I'm fine with that. The only thing I'm really upset about here is I may lose this chest. If Gryphon does pick off Thanos, that'll allow me to get the chest. At this point, I'll put Jaina here, and I'm preparing to blast again. Jaina should take these Harpies out without dying. I can get 1 blast to kind of chip them away, 2nd blast to get on it. And at this point, I need to block this Golem, so I will put the Wolf out. Just let him tank. Saving up some gold. I'm on the enemy's base for a second there. Get a Gryphon out. Not going to do much to them. Just basically kind of stalling them. And if I can get a full rank Arcane Blast, I can actually take the remainder of that base away. So what I will do here is just drop these on the Harpies. And now I'm looking to get Jaina out and end this match. And the opponent thinks they're under control. Look at all those troops in the middle. I'm just saving up some gold. And then I'm going to blast away. Here's 1. Here's 2. Here's 3. and game over. And like I said, that's a perfect showcase match. Super effective, in control nearly the entire time, and essentially letting them get some troops out at the end, knowing that they weren't going to reach my base and I could just basically send a nuke at them. As for the deck itself, there's 2 required units, and that's going to be Jaina and Arcane Blast. You could theoretically play this with something else. I found Arcane Blast more effective than anything else, but a lot of people are running Jaina decks with Blizzard, so you can be open-minded about that if you don't have all of the minis at this point. The Scarecrow could easily be replaced for the Ghoul. They're both cheap tanking type units, and that's what you're looking for. Just looking for a cheap tank that you can deploy and ultimately kind of get some other units out, maybe multiple units as you saw in the gameplay, and take care of enemies that way. The Gryphon is a cheap flying unit, and we could replace this with something else, like even the Vultures would work. What we're looking for out of this slot is a unit that can attack the melee tanks without being hit. And we just want to keep ourselves safe and allow it to pick up. We have a lot of control with this deck, so oftentimes we can get good uptime on damaging those tanks before this unit goes down, if it does at all. The Harpies, and if you have these upgraded, they're incredibly valuable in my opinion. They have the ability to mine the gold as they go by, which makes them great for just sending out on that left lane, cutting across the bridge. If you don't have these, the Darkspear Troll would be my next option, or potentially even the Dark Iron Miner. Looking for something that can either control the middle of the bridge, get on top and throw down, or get those gold mine nodes. So that's the difference between why we would choose each of those units, but all of them would still be effective in this deck. As for the Prowler, we're just looking for a fast unit, and you could also replace this with one of the global units like skeletons that you could move or position somewhere on the map. We're just looking for access to get and control those chests in the middle, so we can deploy Jaina and then use our blast to pick off other enemies or damage the core if everything else is intended to. As for the Safe Pilot, again, this is a global unit, and we're using this to control chests or pick off other units that we can't quite counter, or if we don't have enough gold to perhaps use Arcane Blast. You could replace this as well if you're not a big fan of it. There's some other reliable options that you could insert there, whether it be a spell like Blizzard to have a second spell in your deck, or you could just go with an option that you're more comfortable with, like the Drake or even the Dwell Pegs. I hope the information in this video has been helpful, and if you've been trying to get a deck build that works for Jaina, hopefully this is the one for you. As always, thanks for taking the time to watch, and best of luck as you try to climb the ladder.